Hey y'all, Courtney Lyons here with Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. Today for our WIP and Chat, I'm going to do things a little differently here. I'm actually going to do a kit up and chat instead. It's coming up on Valentine's Day here, so I really want to get started on my Valentine's kitty kit by Distracted by Diamonds and Puffy Gator. Look how cute it is! I'm so excited for this one. I also wanted to show you my first diamond painting logbook setup. I'll probably go into a deeper description video once I get all the details and elements of it figured out. I won't go into a lot of it here, but you can see that I do have do it a bit differently with each type of kit from the different companies. I am trying to get them set up as closely to Diamond Art Club setup, like the Diamond Art Club setup as possible, where you have the kit picture with the details underneath and the company name and artist details on the other side. Here I'm going to use the purple here in a bit, the purple pen for this kit because there's a lot of purple in this. So yeah, I like cutting this picture out right here. Or I guess this is my first Distracted by Diamonds kit, so I'm trying to make it look like the Diamond Art Club sticker that I do, just for the sake of uniformity, because I mostly have Diamond Art Club kits, so I figured that's what will mostly be in my notebooks. Yeah, so I really want to try making it look as uniform as possible. So, and in doing that, it makes the most sense to make them look like the Diamond Art Club ones. So you can kind of see my setup in there. By the way, I am doing a voiceover, mostly actually because it would have been easier. The sound quality sounds better with these WIP and Chats. I plan on using this for shorts as well. And that shorts always work better if you have the voiceover with it like typed up and stuff like that. So anyway, enough of that. I'm using this purple pen because there is a lot of purple in this kit and it's going to look the best. I'll link down below these journaling pens. I got them from Joann's. I use them a lot with some of my artwork, so they're not very, what's the word for it, strong. They're not as strong as maybe other journaling pens maybe, but if you like this idea. I just don't have any others, no point getting new ones for it, and I like these just fine, they work great. I know it's hard to read, but I'll do a video at some point actually showcasing and detailing my logbook so you can see how I do it and maybe give you some good ideas and get some good ideas from you guys. Actually, if you do have good journaling things that you like to put in, especially like at the very end, I'm going to have, at the end of the logbook, have all my haul written down in the logbook to kind of show what I have, but just to have it on paper, you know? So I'll try to do that. But anyway, you can see that I cut out the part with the company information off to put in on the other side. Distracted by Diamonds makes a sticker sheet for kitting up, but unfortunately does not pre-cut anything. So that was a bit of a struggle the whole time, especially since I don't have long nails. Yeah, so maybe those of you following me know that one of my New Year's resolutions was to not bite my nails, and I swear I bring it up every single time because I really am trying, and it's not going well. I really need to stop. But do you guys have any suggestions? You can comment down below on how to stop biting these dang nails because it's driving me crazy. Anyway, right here, I'm going to be putting the details in. Like I said, I'll show more in a video, but mostly like what type of kit it is, if it's square or round. Right there, you can see I'm writing down the name. I'm doing Nana, I think it's Nana Chi is how you say, or Nana Key. Puffy Gator as the artist, and then I kind of go on and put you can see I'm copying the other ones because I can't remember off the top of my head of the things I want to put on there, and at the bottom I'll put the notes. Make my own lines for the notes, which I don't mind doing for everyone. I mean, the kit up I'm not kitting up at one every day that this gets old. It's kind of fun to put it all in myself, and I'm kind of old school like that. I like to put things down and write it down myself. It's just a process. It's fun for me. So maybe that's not your cup of tea. Maybe you guys use the Gem Flow. I tried using Gem Flow. I just have to do so much on the computer and everything like that, and it was stressful for me, and so I actually it's relaxing and a lot less stress to just go and put it down physically in a notebook. There's something about it. I couldn't explain it, but Anyway, that's what I prefer. Everyone's different, right? In a bit here, you'll see I'm going to use the Craftmates Lockables to kit up with this video. I do have an unboxing interview for this type of storage that will come out later, at a later date. Maybe next week. We'll see. I kind of have a full schedule of what I want to put out there, and it's not high on my list of priorities. But if you guys really want to see the preview or kind of see it, I haven't really seen it around a lot. I saw maybe like 2 other diamond painters that after looking it up to see for reviews that I wanted to see. I didn't see a lot of other people doing it, so comment below if that's something that you'd want to see as the review for that, and I'll get it out going sooner. But it is already uploaded to YouTube. I just need to schedule it in somewhere. But I don't know if I like it as much as some of my other storage, but there are elements to it that I really like the fact that it's lockable. I kind of don't like that you can't move the pieces around. You'll see in a second when I open it up, but you'll also see in a little bit here. I'm saying this ahead of time because I'm going to get to the actual chat part of the video where I talk about some interesting things that have happened this week and last week, because it's been a couple weeks now, and maybe even the week before that I just never got to on some of my other WIP and chats. I don't think I did. If I repeat myself, sorry, but there are also a lot of new people on all the time, so I don't think I'm repeating myself in my stories, but we'll see. Anyway, you'll see that I also put washi tape down below, and thank you so much to put washi tape down on the containers before adding the stickers. Because seriously, thank you so much to all of you who commented down below with that suggestion. I absolutely love when you guys give me great advice in the comments, and I really do take it to heart. I have also Bella Art de Nicole trays that I got based off of some suggestions from a few of you, and I haven't uploaded that yet, but I have recorded a video of a review for those, and it's the only thing I use now, so I don't even use my other tray anymore. And so I appreciate it so much when you guys comment down below. I obviously can't take there's a few of them that I have out down the line, things I want to do that I've written down that you guys have suggested, and I plan very much on taking those and trying those out of the things that you suggest, but obviously can't do it all in one go. But I want you to know that I read each and every one of your comments. I go and comment as much as I can, and if you reply back, it doesn't actually show me when you reply back on my notifications on my phone, so those are a little hit and miss, but I do try to go and check on. So if I didn't answer you back on one of your comments and you asked a question or something like that, stick it on a new video as a new comment and I will get to it. So if I don't answer back on those, that's usually why. But anyway, you can see here now the Lockables, what I mean by they're stuck together, like those mini diamond diamond painting containers that you'll get from some of the cheaper shops. But what's cool about these is you can actually hold on to the end there. You'll see as I open them up, I stick my finger on the very edge that the purple part that sticks out, and you push on it and it's like a button and it will unlock the things, but they won't open all at once. So that's really nice, so that when you tip it back over to pour it out, none of the other ones can open because it's locked up again. It's a really cool feature, and I love that. I also love the carrying case. Anyway, I'll get more into something like that later on down the line so you guys can see that. Okay, now that that's all over with, let's get to the chatting part. It's been 2 weeks, like I said, so I thought I would catch you up on what's been going on here. We're totally sick again. This morning, actually, the kids and I all woke up with sore throats and coughs, which luckily I haven't gotten the cough, but it's been really crappy. So sorry if my voice is a little bit off or raspy. But like I said, I'm lucky I haven't gotten the cough part yet. I swear we can't catch a break this winter, but all things considered, we have been pretty lucky. The roads are a lot better here this last week, but they were so scary the last few weeks before. I'm sure many of you around the States have been going through similar situations. We know a lot of people that have gotten into some scary car crashes, and we ourselves totally slipped into a berm of snow as well. It was so terrifying. So here's what happened. So we were on our way to a friend's house that go to church with us. And they were so nice and offered to have us over when our house heat wouldn't get above 52 degrees that night, that it was negative 17 degrees. I'll get to that story in a bit. So anyway, we've been having some car issues, and with our Sequoia, which is the only 4-wheel drive we have, and it was undrivable that day. I'm not even going to get into the car issues, but sometimes we can use it, sometimes we can't. But that day we could not. But the roads weren't horrible, so we figured our Hyundai Tucson would get the job done. And it would have done fine, except we had made it onto a road that turned out to be pretty iffy, and figured it would be fine as long as we didn't have any like big hills we'd have to make it up. There weren't any, luckily, until we were literally a quarter mile from their house. We were so close to their house. And there was this big hill that we were like, oh crap, because when it's slippery like that, you just can't make it up the hill in a 2-wheel drive car. So we got enough momentum going that we thought we were good when suddenly a car started coming up from the opposite side, and the road was not quite big enough for both of us, so we couldn't really stop. But we tried to keep going, but neither were they stopping. And really, like, the general rule is the person coming up the hill should have the right of way for that exact reason, like so they can make it up the hill on a slippery slope. So we had to stop and pull off a little to the side of the road. They just weren't paying attention, I think. And there's this little side road. We happened to make it up. We kind of just barely went off to it, just enough for them to pass us. Well, they went on their merry way, and once they passed, my husband Greg, put on the gas slowly so we could try for a bit of traction, but it was no go. Instead of going forward, we ended up slipping backward into the berm of snow. And it was also terrifying because while we slid into the berm on the one side, the other side of the road had a big drop off. I mean, there were trees there, but it would not have been good. Anyway, at this point, we were almost facing it because of the angle we were stuck in sliding, when we were sliding backward. So like you couldn't just try to get up, because if we were to like go too fast and get going too hard, we would have gone off to the other side over the other edge. So, but the more, Greg tried to get out and dig us out and push while I tried to ease out. But the more we tried, the stucker we got. Is that a word? It's not a word. The more stuck we got. We ended up finally calling our friends to come and see, because you know how it is with guys, where I'm like, Greg, let's just call them. They have trucks. They can come get us. He's like, no, we can do this. And finally I convinced him. I'm like, I'm calling either way. Because, not all guys, but many guys are like, no, we don't need help. We don't need to call for help or ask for directions. But anyway, our friends ended up coming. So he ended up just getting in the car, our friend, and doing the same thing we'd been doing, but was braver and kind of knew more what he was doing. He's lived out here for a while, so he was more aggressive with it. Not that Greg doesn't know how to drive well in snow. He grew up in an area that he drove in snow all the time. But anyway, maybe just with that particular hill or something. He was older, so, older people have a lot better knowledge and life experience, but that part was pretty scary too, though, because he ended up completely doing a U-turn, sliding practically the whole way. So the drop-off was pretty close to the one side of us, and I was in the passenger seat looking down, and I was like, oh my gosh. But we were able to make it back down the hill, turn around, and get the momentum going so we could try the hill again. We thought we might end up not making it again, but luckily we made it just fine. So scary. But definitely others have had it much worse this winter. We've had a lot of issues with not having a car that has 4-wheel drive. We were working on getting the Tucson all set up to trade in for something better for the area. Well, our other close call happened that week that Greg was gone for a work trip for a week, which I think was the week before. Before that, it had snowed all day that day, and we were supposed to make it to the airport. And I was getting everything ready and cleaned for the day when I realized, how the heck was I going to make it out of our steep, long driveway, then drive the rest of the way to the airport, about an hour and a half to get him? Well, we do have a plow service, since where we are going, we have going where they like come and plow our driveway for us. So I called and asked them if there was any way they could be moved up to like priority to get it done sooner, and that like we'd have to leave by 2, which I hate asking because it takes it away from others that might really need it. But honestly, I did have a real need for it. They said the soonest they could be there was at like 2:15, and they would try to get there as fast as possible. So I was like, okay, that's fine if Greg has to wait in the airport for a bit, I guess. But, they were doing their best. They did get there at 2, so I was so grateful for that. But, it took time for them to plow, too. In the meantime, Oakley and I went out and shoveled around the car and on top of the car as much as we could, which is a whole other story because now we have a big dent on our car. He tried so hard. It's not really his fault. But needless to say, we'll not be sending him out there to get the snow off the car anytime soon. Oh. Anyway, we shoveled getting all ready, and then we finally were able to probably be ready to leave the house by 2:30. So I go up to the drive to go up the drive with the car, and sure enough, I still can't make it. I can't get even like a few feet up. It's so slippery. And it wasn't even snowing anymore at that point. It was just slick, and we just did not have the car for it, and it was a steeper hill. So I was so worried and terrified, even just holding it still, like up as high as I could get, it would start sliding back without me even, it just would slide backward back to where I was. So I was worried I'd end up in the big berm that was behind me and be stuck with the 5-year-old, and the baby in the car. Then I remembered that Greg had bought more salt before he left in case we needed it. Thank heavens, just what a sweet thing to do and remember. But then I couldn't find it anywhere. I'd forgotten where he said he'd put it, and he was on his flight already, so I couldn't call him. He had his phone off. So I looked for a while, ended up grabbing the cat litter I found in the basement. Clean cat litter, not the gross stuff. But there wasn't a lot of it. So I put that down in front of each tire, and along as far as I could on the tire tracks in front of me. Put the car into gear and finally started making some headway, only to hit the end of the cat litter trail and slide right back into where I started, further back even, because I was a little bit further up the driveway, so I had momentum coming back down. But I had to find that salt, but seriously couldn't find it anywhere. I got back into the car and just kind of sat stumped when I said to the kids, hey, let's pray. I'm out of options, and maybe we should have started with that first. So sure enough, we prayed, and right as soon as I was done with the prayer, seriously, split second after, Oakley, for those of you who might not know if this might be your first time on this WIP and Chat, he's my 8-year-old boy, but he's so sweet. He said, hey, Mom, did you know Dad put some salt in the car? And I'm kicking my nah. And I mean, he was meaning our 4-wheel drive, the other one that was undrivable. And I was like, what? He didn't even know that that's what I've been looking for this whole time was salt. And even if he didn't know, even if he did know, I have such a strong belief that God might have put the reminder in his sweet little mind. And maybe you're not religious, and that's totally fine. I think either way you look at it, it was a miracle. I mean, not like one of those huge miracles, but one of those small miracles you get every day that you just need. So anyway, so I went to the other car, and sure enough, there it was in the passenger seat, and it was 4 bags. And I dumped all 4 on the driveway. Was it overkill? Maybe. Nah, yeah, it totally was overkill. But whatever, I wanted out of there, and I was grabbing my husband because he had been gone for a week, and I was done being on my own with the kids, and it was not happening another night. At this point, the snow had stopped, so, well before that. So once we got into the main road, it was clear and smooth sailing, so that was lucky and nice, and didn't have any scares after that. We were a touch late picking him up, but not nearly as late as I thought we would be, so also not a huge deal. I did tell him what happened, and he's like, oh, okay, and I'm sorry that happened, and stuff like that. And it was so funny because he's like, and then I just put all the bags down. He's like, wait, what? You put all those bags of salt down, all 4 bags? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, we're not going to have any problems for the rest of the winter. And I was like, sorry. I was a little desperate. I just wanted to be out. So, we haven't had issues since. I think there's enough salt on there. Just kidding. That's probably not good to have that much salt. Hopefully it doesn't, kill the vegetation on either side. But, it was a lot of salt. Anyway, the other snow story, well, it's not really snow story, although it had snowed as well, but was that week was it maybe 2 weeks ago? I might have talked about it on my last WIP and Chat, so sorry if I did. But for those of you who might be new or might not have heard or seen that one, sheesh, it was so cold here that week. I think it averaged down to negative, at least, I think the average was -5 to 7 just at night. Maybe some of you are like, that's not even a big deal, but it was to us, especially being in this really old house. So on that really cold day especially, it was when it first like just dropped like crazy. And I think that was the night it ended up being -17, or at least it was like, I know it was past -10 that night. And that whole day we actually had a funeral to go to. And so we went to the funeral, and it was crazy. Just the walk from the car into the church building, our nostrils were like, you know how like, this is kind of gross, but you know how like when you breathe in that cold of air, and your nose like you can feel like the air and the condensation just starting to freeze as you're breathing in and out. It was wild. I have rarely been in that cold of weather. Even living in Utah, it really doesn't get that cold in Utah very often. And apparently it's not that often up here. This is pretty strange. And a lot of places around here where we just had that giant dip in temperature. So yeah, any of you Canadians up there listening to this is like, that's child's play. But for us, it was not. And this old rickety house, sorry, I dropped my phone. This old rickety house that had all these drafts coming in that's costing us a fortune to heat as is. When we came back from the funeral, we realized that our house was freezing. And we're like, what is going on in here? So we tried to turn up the heat more, but we realized it was as high as it was going to, like, it was at 75. It was at our normal 68, but we changed it to 75 to try to get it to kick in more. We couldn't get it above 52 degrees, and which isn't usually a huge deal, but we have a baby. So we just snuggled him up in tons of warm stuff and sat by the fire, and we could not get it warmed up. So finally we're like, I think like the drafts are just coming in through the back door, and because it was, I forgot to say, it was also really windy, and we faced the lake, so there's nothing stopping that wind from hitting us. We're up on a hill. The lake is down at the bottom, so any drafts coming from that direction, they have plenty of momentum to really get going across that whole lake and then hit our house straight on through the back that faces the water. So that doorway, you could hear it just whistling in. So we took some of that, I forget what it's called. This is a really big industrial duct tape, and took a blanket and put it over the top and sealed the blanket around this doorway. But still wasn't enough, because after we got it sealed up, we washed. And even the blanket, with the door completely closed, mind you, was billowing with the air coming in. And we're like, this is going to cost us a fortune. Anyway, so we finally ended up taking like another blanket that was a lot thicker and putting it over the top, and finally it stopped. And then just stuffing a ton of blankets underneath. And then the way our house is set up is the downstairs is heated, but the upstairs is not. Each individual room has heating, and obviously we're not going to go turn all those on, except whole nother story, the upstairs pipes froze. Luckily they didn't burst. That happened to a lot of people where it did burst. Anyway, they froze, and we ended up having to turn a bunch of the heat on up there in the room next to the bathroom, and then put a space heater up there so it wouldn't freeze, which was scary at night. Anyway, so what we ended up trying to do too was put a big blanket up in the middle of the doorway going upstairs, so that, there's not a door, but it's just kind of like a doorway going upstairs, so that we would not have that draft coming from downstairs. And even then, after having all that, we managed to get up to maybe like 55, 56, and then it hovered around there, so we were pretty cold. And then it suddenly stopped doing that, and we were able to get warm again. And we didn't at first know why it was until later we found out it was because that wind stopped coming in. So we don't know what's going to happen again next time it's freezing, literally freezing, and that wind coming in just it demolished our heat bill, guys. I'm not I'm not going to say how much it was just because of, I don't know, I feel like that's a personal thing. I don't know. But like it was a lot and it was rough, and it's going to be rough. I mean, it's fine. It's not like we can't, it just sucks. It's like that is so much money literally flying out the door and out the windows, and oh, it's painful. It's painful. But anyway, that was us. It ended up warming up just fine, and the other nights were fine. But we always let the cat out at night to go to the bathroom and stuff, but sometimes we'll forget he's out there, which isn't a huge deal. He's used to being indoor, outdoor, so he's actually got a pretty good winter coat going for him. But we told the kids, under no circumstances do you put Gooby outside. Gooby's the name of our cat. That's another story. But under no circumstances put Gooby outside because he could very well freeze to death. We might not see him. So they were really careful because they, of course, love the kitty. So that cat, he just as a change of subject to now that winter story's over, he does the funniest thing, because the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I go, or at least I try, besides getting kids up and ready and diapers changed and everything like that, like the first chore I try to do in the morning once I get the kids started on their homeschool. I'm a homeschool mom, just for you who might not know that. But I get the kids started on their homeschool stuff. And then as soon as I start going to clean, I don't know what it is, but I feel like so much easier to start everything else if I first go around and make all the beds. But I swear, without a doubt, like without fail, sorry, that's what I meant to say. Without fail, the cat's on one of the beds that I'm trying to make. It's always a different one every time, but he's on a bed. And I'm like, dude, you are way too cute to move right now. And so I have this internal battle where I'm like, okay, I'll go do the other thing. I'll go do something else. But in the back of my mind, this bed is not made. And it has to be made for me to feel sane. So I go back there and I check again, and he's still there. It'll be like an all-day conundrum for me that's stressing me out. I'm like, I need to make this bed. But I can't because the cat's really cute laying on it, and I don't want to make him move. But what's even funnier sometimes is when I finally just give in to my anxiety of not having this bed made. And I go over there, and I'm like, Cat, I'm making the bed. Like, do what you want. And so I'm like pulling the sheets out. He's getting jostled all around. Like, seriously, if it's really messy bed, I'm pulling the sheets up and pulling the over cover part up. Or what is that? The cover, the main blanket over the top, and like anyway, he could be sitting on it. He could be like dragged halfway across the bed as I do this, and he just stays. He'll just stay right there. He's like, I'm not moving. And if he's causing a wrinkle, I like pull all the blankets out from under him to like stop the wrinkling, and he stays right there. It's so funny. We're a little bit obsessed with cats here, if you can't tell by the diamond painting kit I chose. I need to get more cat ones. But at the same time, I don't, because I feel weird being that person that gets all the cat ones, but I might have to anyway. Anyway, it's just the funniest thing. And he's just such a good, sweet cat. Actually, he's actually like been the hero a few times. When we first got him, we were at a house. I thought this house was old. It was so much older than this house even that I'm in right now. And the plumbing, I swear the plumbing was haunted. So we were actually going to it was just Greg and I at this point. We didn't have kids yet, and we just bought the cat. And we were about to head over to Greg's parents to go stay the weekend with him. I think it was like a 3 or 4 day weekend. So and this was before Greg worked from home. So we actually tried to take advantage of 4 day weekends. And so we were about to take off, and when we heard, and we were trying to get the cat, I think we were taking him, I couldn't remember, or we were leaving him with just like a bunch of food, and I think we had one of those running water dishes, so he would have been fine. But cats are awesome that way. Anyway, we tried to get Gooby. No, we were taking him with us because we tried to get Gooby to come with us so we could put him in the carrying case and take him with. And we said to him, like, we were like, Kitty, come here. And he kept going. He does this funny meowing sound. I'm going to do it. It's embarrassing for me to do it, but whatever. I don't even care. He goes, bow, bow. And especially does it when he gets stuck outside. and or stuck somewhere in the bathroom. And it's just the most pitiful and adorable. It's so funny. And he was doing that meow, which usually means something's wrong or he's stuck somewhere or something like that. So we're like, what the heck? So we go over towards the back of the house where there's the door to the basement. I would not go down in the basement for the life of me. Like, I'm kind of a scaredy cat as I am, but back then in my early 20s, gosh, I was so young, I was even more of a scaredy cat. And he was meowing right at the door right there. I'm like, that's so creepy. Why is he meowing at the door, just staring at this closed door down to the basement? And then we realized as we're sitting there listening to him meow like this, that we could hear water in the background. So we open the door, and he actually runs off at that point. He doesn't go down to the basement. He runs off. But we can see right there at the stairs going down, this pipe had burst and was just spewing water out into the rest of the basement, which had a lot of stuff in it that wasn't ours because we were renting at the time. So we're like, oh crap. So Greg runs and turns off the water. We call the landlords, which we were actually our really good friends' grandparents. So they were awesome. And anyway, they came, and I think they did something, or we shut the water off, cleaned up, something like that. We shut the water, cleaned off, and then they sent someone in to come help clean later. And we're like, what the heck? This is the best cat in the world. So we would have left. Like, we had no idea. If we hadn't been meowing at that door, because it was towards the back of the house, which we were probably not going to go back there anyway. There was no need to be. And sure enough, he definitely saved the day. That would have been absolutely awful to have that going for a 3-day weekend, just spewing water for that long. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh, makes me sick just thinking about it. But yeah, anyway, another time, it's just hilarious. This was years later. We had our first son, he was 2. I was pregnant with our daughter, and we had this house, the house that we still own now, but we just don't live there anymore. We're renting it out to some friends, and it was not fenced off on the sides. It had fence all around the back and the 2 sides, but not like from the sides to the front of the house. So it was open right there. Anyway, we had a play set in the back, and my son was just running around back there and kind of playing on the play set. And there I was. Greg and I were kind of up a little bit up the hill towards the side of the house where we could see Oakley, but not necessarily right there with him. And this big white dog comes over kind of close to where we are. Greg's not a dog person, and you might have heard from one of my other WIP and Chats that it's not that I'm not a dog person. I love all animals. I'm very much an animal person. And I love dogs when they're a dog I know or a dog of a family that I'm going to visit them, and their dog's there, and then they're good with being petted and they're in their environment and they're sweet and stuff. But not when I'm running. I've been attacked so many times when I'm running. So anyway, but this dog comes up to us, seems super friendly, but we're a little wary because he's really big and it's not a dog we know. So, and I knew my cat was under the car that was parked on the side there, just kind of staring because he's terrified of dogs, like cats usually are, especially dogs that, they don't know too. And I can see him down there kind of just eyeing the dog. Well, the dog just kind of sniffs me, kind of like, I was trying not to pet it and encourage it to be there. So then it kind of looks over to where Oakley is, and which stressed me out because I was like, oh, don't go suddenly go and jump on him because a big dog might not know his strength. And it starts kind of trotting over there, and my cat, I want to say out of nowhere, but I knew he was under the car, comes bolting out from under the car and just attacks this dog's face all of a sudden. And he doesn't hurt it, but he just kind of jumps at the dog's face, and the dog's like, whoa. I mean, this dog's we have a big cat. He's probably 15, 16 pounds, a big cat. But, excuse me, the not nearly as big as this huge dog, very big dog. And the dog's like, what the heck? And he just takes off and runs off. And we don't he just hightails it out of there and we don't see him again. And then, well, as soon as our cat like attacked his face, he bolted off the other way because he's like, I did my job, I'm off. Like, I'm not waiting to see how this dog retaliates. But we're like, and it was like the cat completely left him alone until and the dog was going the opposite direction of our cat. So it's not like the cat felt threatened of the dog coming towards him. The dog was going towards our kid and not anywhere near the cat. So the cat comes hightailing it out the opposite direction and comes and attacks. And I thoroughly believe that he came out and saw that the dog was headed towards our kid and saved him that way. So anyway, I could go on forever about that cat. He's really sweet. He's also a really good mouser. He's getting pretty old now, though. I was really sad to see, your animals start to slow down. And do you guys have any cool stories about your animals doing stuff to save? Those are some of our favorite videos to watch as a family. We haven't for a while, but we used to. Of like animals saving people, or saving other animals, or people saving animals. You can't go wrong with a video of all these people trying to get an baby elephant out of a ditch, right? Or someone coming and finding a kitten and kind of telling their story about saving a kitten. You really can't go wrong with those. It's so much fun to watch those, so heartfelt. And yeah, but anyway, let me know. Comment down below if you have a cute story, even if you can't put the whole comment down there, just a little bit. I'll read it to the kids. They'll love that. So anyway, that's feel good cat story of the day. All right, I wanted to talk about a few things about updates on things that we've kind of been talking about in the WIP and Chats. I know it's kind of a typical thing to talk about what you're reading and watching and stuff like that. Haven't really been watching anything lately. I've honestly just been watching a lot of YouTube videos and following a lot of politics, but obviously I'm not, this is not a political channel. I won't put anything up here at all, because I think it should not be put into a WIP and Chat like this, where we talk about diamond painting and political, anything doesn't matter. But I do think it's pretty crazy what's happening down at the border right now, so been following that a lot. That's pretty much all I've been watching besides Daniel Tiger, which is like going on in the background occasionally at our house, or whatever else the kids happen to want to watch. We used to be, for a little while, we were watching any and all Christmas movies, even a little bit after into the beginning part of January. And that's a fun Christmas tradition we like to do. But now we've kind of transitioned into playing Switch at night as a family. And one that we're absolutely loving and trying to get our way through is Overcooked. I don't know if you guys have ever played Overcooked before on Switch or any other device. But sorry, I feel like I'm a little bit more out of breath than I normally am. Hopefully it's not COVID. But with a sickness. So sorry if I seem out of breath, because I kind of am. Maybe I'm talking too fast. But anyway, Overcooked it's this game. It's actually a high stress game. We can only handle it in small doses, and sometimes Greg and I start fighting because you have to work together, and it's you, and you can play single player, but usually we play double player, Greg and I, or sometimes the kids hop in, where it's you and this other person, and you're trying to make these dishes that pop up in the top left corner, and they change it around a lot. They start you off making simple salads and then sushi, and then it gets a lot more complicated where you're making dumplings and frying things or burgers, and you're usually on these, it starts you off with these levels where you're just in a regular kitchen. You have to go and chop the lettuce before you put it on the plate, and then you have to chop the tomatoes. And anyway, you have to work as a team. And it gets more and more complicated later on as you go, where you're suddenly on these platforms in these hot air balloons up in the air. And every once in a while they'll separate, so you have to throw it across. And it's so much fun. It's Overcooked too. which the first one's really fun, but I'd recommend Overcooked too. But anyway, it's really fun because it's funny to watch the difference between Greg and I, the way we handle it, because he's usually pretty silent, and it's so much to our personalities in marriage. He's pretty silent until he's like, Court, you can't do that. Like snap or something. He's like, you got to do it this way or we won't get anything done or something like that. But most of the time he kind of is just quiet. And then me, I'm like, Greg, okay, I've got this and you've got that. And here I'm about to throw this up. Like the whole time I have this constant running chatter of being bossy to my husband of what to do next. I mean, he has fun. He's the one that brings up wanting to play Overcooked too. So he has fun with it. But sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, okay, I'll try not to talk so much this time. And then I'm like, rah, 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 rah. for each round we play. But it's a lot of fun because if you get a 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, depending on how many stars you've accumulated, lets you decide, or lets you see, it'll be the deciding factor on if you can move on to the next level or not. So you can keep going on, but then the harder levels, you're like, shoot, I need 2 more stars. So I have to go back to one of the other previous levels and try to get 3 stars instead of 2, but it gets really, really hard. So it's really a fun, like the whole family gets into it and we get the 3 stars and we're all like, yeah! And the kids are running around in excitement. It's also a lot of fun when Oakley, Zinni usually won't pick up the controller, she likes to watch, but Oakley will try to play too, and his favorite part of the whole thing is setting fire to everything, because if you go, I don't know, put rice over to boil, and it has a certain gauge, so you have to wait for the rice to boil, so you go do something else while it's waiting, but if you forget about it, it gets this exclamation mark over the top of it, and goes beep, 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 so you have to go and get it really fast, and if you don't get it fast enough, then it catches fire. And so there's what's those fire putter outers called again? Why, it's late. I can't think of it. It's not a fire hydrant. You know what I'm trying to say? I can't think of it. But anyway, a fire hydrant thing. Fire extinguisher. That's what it is. Okay, there's a fire extinguisher there. So you have to go and find that, which sometimes it's kind of hidden or hard to see. And then go put out the fire before the fire spreads. So his favorite thing is me or Greg trying to go and cook up all these things. And then suddenly he lets something catch fire. And then we're like, put out the fire. And we're trying to find the fire extinguisher. And sometimes he'd sneakily gone and put it somewhere impossible to get. And then the whole thing just burns up. And he's just laughing and having a great time. And we're pretending to be stressed out and be like, oh no, all our hard work. And he has so much fun with it. So that's what we've been doing at night as a family. We've been playing the Switch, playing Overcooked. I don't know if you guys have ever played the Goose Game. That's one we might start back up again, but we've beat it a couple times now. It's where you're this goose, and you can play 2-player with this, or you're these pair of geese that your sole purpose in life in this game is to go in this little English town, this quaint little English town, and cause complete ruckus. I don't give away the ending because it's you got to go play it. The ending is adorable, but example is one of the scenes that you're in. You have to go and get this guy to drop his glasses or something like that, because you have to grab something of his, and then he has to bend over to try to pick up whatever it is that you dropped. And you then at that point, at the right moment when he's bent over, you go, wah, and you do your little honking button to make this really loud, obnoxious honking sound. And after you do that, he jumps and his glasses drop off, and then he starts walking around not being able to see. It's just really cool what they've done with video games because it's very customizable. You're given this list of things that you need to accomplish, and I mean it's all shenanigans, all causing ruckus, and say one of them is the goal to have the man drop his glasses, so you have to figure out how are you going to make him drop his glasses. So it's really fun. It's a good puzzle game. The kids have learned to do play it on their own, and I'm all for that one because it teaches them to problem solve and try things in new ways. And anyway, I'm not a big advocate of in fact, I don't let the kids just sit in front of the switch screen all day and do that constantly or anything like that, because I just don't think that's good for them. Obviously, everything in moderation. But I feel like, and I think I've said this before in one of my other WIP and Chats, but I feel like I'm good at puzzles because I learned to do all these puzzles in the Legend of Zelda games, and things like that. I think it's good for your brain to do problem-solving puzzles like that, because I think video games get a bad rap with all the shooting and killing and whatever that racing game is, or you run away from the cops or whatever like that. So, but overall, I think most of them are pretty good. So anyway, that's what we've been up to for the evenings. Not really watching shows, but doing that. As far as my reading has been going, I have been doing, I have not finished Wuthering Heights. And I feel like that's another thing I failed for I lost interest. I don't usually lose interest with classics. I love reading classics. They're like half of what I read, and then the other half is anything else random that sounds good to me. But yeah, with that one, I don't, there's just something about it. I don't know if it's a mental block where I'm like, I have a hard time getting into this one. It was interesting for a while. I wonder if I went back and listened to more than 5 minutes at a time, which is what I felt like what was going on, that I'd get into it a lot better and be able to finish it. So I probably still will. As far as learning a new piano piece every month, right now, I've actually just this month have been going and refreshing all the ones I already know. And I haven't been playing a bunch of piano, but when I do, one in particular that I'm trying to get down enough to memorize is, it's Billie Eilish. Oh, what is it called? Oh goodness, what's it called? Quiet when I'm coming home and I'm on my own. That one. I could lie, say I'd like it like that, like it like that. What is that one called? Okay, I can't think of the name of it. Oh, drives me nuts. Anyway, I would really like to take some of the songs I already know and memorize them so I could just play them wherever. Because I feel like I can't ever play it, like, I wouldn't be able to play them anywhere unless I had the sheet music with me, and I'm not going to take that with me wherever I go. So I think it's important to memorize songs. So I'm trying to do that. My son just started piano lessons. He took for a couple years Let's Play Music, which is a great program. If you have kids and you're thinking about that program, or you're thinking of a music program that would be good, holy cow, it's so good. They do it in a group setting, which is so different from what I'm used to, that I was used to learning as a kid. And I was like hesitant at first. I was like, how are they going to learn that well in a group setting versus having the one-on-one piano? But he learned so much. Like, it was more than just piano. It was about rhythm. It was about, they do these puppet shows to these classical songs and be able to listen to the song and listen to how the different instruments that come in, and like the fox would be, what was the one? There was one, I can't even remember what all the names, there was, I don't remember. Anyway, the different puppets came in when the different instruments came in, or when a different part of the song came in, or when it changed from major to minor, or it changed keys. So it was just really cool. But there were 3 years of it. We couldn't do the third year because the closest person was over an hour away, and we weren't going to do that every week for a whole year. And they did offer it over Zoom, but I just feel like that wouldn't have been the same, and I might as well just move him on to piano lessons for actually less money. So quite a bit less money, so because it's pretty expensive. But so he started piano lessons with just the sweetest teacher. I love her to death. Like, hearing her work with Oakley is exactly what she needs. Because I don't know if you can tell, but I'm more of a, okay, let's done, move on to the next thing. It's very much my personality. And she's just laid back. She lets him play his pieces for her, and then she says, okay. And you can tell the change in his behavior with her, partially because she's not mom, which makes a huge difference, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. And she's so calm, which he's the kind of kid that needs, like, he absorbs what's going on around him and the same stuff around him. I don't know. So I've been trying that. And as we practiced piano today, I think I did a lot better, where I was like, okay, that sounds great. We need to bring it back in focus. And I just need to work on patience in general. So the not yelling at the kids, I want to say that's going really well. It's going better. I wouldn't say it's cured. Not, like I said, not that I yell at them all the time by any means, but we have hit that point where I am like, asking nicely, that's it, you know? So now we're at the point where that's starting to get better, especially with my older two. Well, I don't yell at the baby, he's a baby, right? Like, I only get angry and start yelling when I'm like, you are purposefully trying to bother me, and I've lost it, which they're very good, well, Oakley is very good at doing. But, so really, I feel bad to say this. It's really only between Oakley and I, unfortunately, because we just clash so badly sometimes. But I love that kid so much. So it breaks my heart that we have these moments. So I think we're finally getting to the point where I sit him down, I make him look at me, and be like, Oakley, I've asked you nicely about 5 or 6 times. I don't want to yell at you, but I'm feeling like I'm getting at that point where I want to yell. Can we work together? Can you just go do it? If you need help, maybe I can help, and I'll go walk off for a second to calm down. Works about a third of the time, but it's better than it was before. I feel like still sometimes he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it till you start yelling, and I actually feel like that works, you know. So we just need to get out of that setup where he only listens when I start to get upset and yell. So anyway, that's mom life, that's parenting. Oh man, it can be so hard sometimes. So hard, but anyway, if you guys have any like good parenting advice down below, I would be super happy with that too. Are you trying to get out, kitty? Go let my cat out. Here you go, bud. This is so different than doing this with the WIP and Chats, because when I do the WIP and Chats, it's not a voiceover. So I'm working on the diamond painting as I'm going, and I have to think harder about what I'm saying because my hands are moving at the same time. So I have this recorded, and I have it just playing as I do a voiceover, so it's kind of funny. Oh my gosh, look at the color palette of this. It is everything I love. It's so pastel. I love pastels. It's by far my favorite color palette, to have pastels just everywhere. Or maybe like a few pastels in a navy or a plum color and some cream colors in there. I absolutely love and adore that. Okay, you'll see right here that I've actually skipped forward, and I've got the whole thing kitted up now because I wanted to talk about, to end things off, what changes I might make on this painting. I know you can't see the whole thing, and when I'll go over it in more detail, definitely when I do the finish, to see what changes I've made. I'm still undecided on if I even want to make changes, because this has no special drills in it. And I'm kind of like, I wonder how it would be to have no special drills, and see if I like that, because I haven't, that's not true. I've done plenty of them without any special drills in it, but they were all smaller kits with not good quality drills. And these are very good quality drills. So I kind of want to see, I'm like, will I enjoy the normal drills better and not always be looking forward to the next special drill that I'm going to put down if I have everything just normal? But at the same time, this is a very special kit, and there are a lot of spots where you could put specials in. So I kind of want to put specials in. So you can see I have those two options over there. That yellow one, I'm going to stick. Oh, see this blue one right here? See how well that matches? If you watched my other video of my process, I really like to match colors. And so I'm going to put this blue in here because I want to match that up. You'll see some up. You can see in the top right corner the cat's face. Well, under the cat's face is his chest. Yeah, here, I pointed it right here. Where I feel like that would work really well for the highlight, to have some ABs right there. These diamond dot ABs, this mint green that I just put in. And I have this cream. I'm trying to see if that works anywhere. That yellow one kind of down on the opposite side of the mint green AB is an AB2. And I thought those would work perfectly in those yellow spots that are just kind of spots, like sparkle spots right there, kind of right above the, oh, hi, kitty, right above the case where it is. So I'm going to use those there, assuming I'm not going to go back and change my mind about it. But trying to see if those gold will go anywhere. And looking at it now, and looking at it from this distance, I don't think gold goes well with this kit. There's just something about it. I mean, I know gold and silver kind of go well with Valentine's, but it's not really. Okay, so that little bag right there is the extra. If you watched this unboxing, it which I'll try to link up above. I think I've figured out how to do that now. But that matches a color kind of off to the left that you can't see, and I'm gonna stick that in there because that color goes along the bow, and I think that would be perfect around the collar and the bow, and put that there. There's also blue AB, not right there. Oh, I wanted to show you how pretty that was. Kind of above, I put it next to that yellow I was talking about, and you can see that kind of blue swirl up by my arm. There's a few of those that I thought would be really cool to put it in those, and yeah, just pointing to the bow for those sparkles. Anyway, in that unboxing, Ben and Aaron that own Distracted by Diamonds, I believe they're a couple, they sent that as just a little extra sparkly drills, and I'm pretty sure they just did that to be nice. So I'm definitely going to try to put that in the kit, which I think it will work great in the bow. And then, yeah, I think for the rest of this, I'm just trying to see what will work. This is from my Gerbera vase one. And you can see I'm trying to take the specials off of there to see if it will match. That one doesn't look like it's matching. I do really like the crystal ones, but I feel like I used the heck out of those on my Gerbera vase one. And I kind of don't want to go back and use those again. There's more of that pink right there, but it's a different pink. And it matches another one over there. Not closely, but I figured I might as well. I'm not going to use all these specials probably, but I figured I might as well put it in the kit up just so in case I decide I want to use them, then they're there. So, yeah, I'll put both of those in. I think there's one more that I try for. I know I have 2 green ABs, but I don't bother with those there. And let's see if I put any more. I'm pretty sure those are all. No, I put 2 more in there. I think I put the gold in there just in case I decide on the gold. But I'll probably skip forward on this part with the putting the stickers down. All right, you'll see this is from my Crystal Canvas Art Designs. I did watermelon gnome, and that went right up. It was his hat color, the gnome's hat. It doesn't really match anything, but it is purplish, and so I'm going to put that in there just in case I happen to see something being like, oh, that would work here, but I might not use that. Oh, you'll see over to, if I move my arm, you'll see I labeled those crystals and those specials, not the specials, because I knew that those are all the Diamond Dots ones that I'm using, but especially I didn't want to get the Crystal Canvas Art Design ones confused with the Distracted by Diamonds ones, so I just kind of labeled it with the lettering, and I'll do the same here. Put this down on right there and put CCAD for Crystal Canvas Art Designs. So that will help me remember which one goes where. I'll have to do a better system when I get more leftover drills because it'll be needed because I'll want to know which specific number those crystals are. I think a few of you might already know, but I did order some. Oh, hold on, pause here. So this is actually, these crystals are the same ones I put in Gerbera vase at the bottom of the vase, and I absolutely loved them. So I'm probably going to put them in there. I'm pretty sure I put them in there just in case because I start pointing out how maybe I'll put it in some of the, you see those highlights in the bows? I kind of want to just bling up the bow quite a bit and around her neck. And I thought maybe that would be kind of cool in some of those parts to make it beautiful. All right, so Here is the finished palette. Oh my gosh, you know, this reminds me of what the mermaid bedroom is going to look like, especially on the left side, those drills. And this is how Craftmates works. Definitely keep an eye out for the post review on the Craftmates one and this kit, which I'm going to hopefully start soon. Thanks for joining me, guys. Bye!